Welcome to Earth Radiance TV. I'm your host, Tammie Pike, and I'm so honoured to have you on this journey of self-love and self-discovery with me. I have created Earth Radiance TV as a remedy to combat women feeling alone in life, love, family, and business. Within this series, I will be interviewing women who are going against the normalcy of society and are living, loving, mothering, and doing business their own unique way. So get comfortable and give yourself permission to be inspired by the wisdom, love, learnings, and truth of each woman as she unfolds her journey with you. Welcome, beautiful, to Earth Radiance, a place for you to be real, be wild, and be you. Welcome, everyone, to another Earth Radiance TV series. And today's episode is with a woman who really is such a divine, sensual, and sacred woman who is creating such a shift and change in the way we do life and business, as well as look at ourselves in our mind, body, and soul. And so thank you so much, Renee, for being here today.
Thank you, Tammie. I'm excited to be here. I'm grateful to be here.
Yeah. It's so wonderful to be talking again because not long ago I was actually on your show and it was just so divine in that connection and that, you know, really delving into all things women, sensuality, self-love. And today I get to, you know, do that with you and get right into your juiciness and all your wisdom and knowledge. So I'm really excited to be unfolding that with you.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
So a little bit about Renee. Renee is Queen Hedonist and the creator of the Hedonistic way and bra queen, business and leadership alchemist, poetic speaker, lover of spoken word, and chronic oversharer, creating a way of life and a pleasure-centric business to serve and build abundance. And I know just recently you're talking about the space that you're in where you're actually, you know, evolving and changing. And I guess, you know, this is something that is so prevalent in so many women and in their business that, you know, sometimes we can resist this change or this pull to create a different, you know, sense of self or a different type of business or even evolving it to what it was. How do you feel within yourself in experiencing this growth right now?
You know, I've really learnt and I've really been playing with embodying the pain, you know, and feeling the pain, not resisting any of it. And in that pain, you know, I was saying yesterday, you know, for so long, you know, I've been on this, you know, personal development and spirituality circuit for like 2 decades. And it got to a point where I realized I felt like I was like competing in the spiritual Olympics every single day. And, you know, and all the personal development in the world, you know, we're told to put a positive spin on things and, you know, and not, you know, really just suppress and ignore our, you know, emotions that we might deem as bad or they're not as joyful to experience, right? They're harder for us to kind of move through and feel. And for me, really removing the hierarchy of emotions was a complete game changer, and it's really allowed me to find the pleasure in pain. Yeah.
Yeah, and because you've been, like you said, you've been doing this for like 2 decades and really already going through so many evolutions in that time period. And because now you have so many beautiful offers to the world because you coach, you do these amazing hedonistic business jams. You also, I just love like looking into what you did, like with your bra queen. You actually help women be able to comfortably fit in their bras, and you spoke and all around Australia, all these kind of cool things that you do. And like, it's this new evolution again. So how did, I guess, because you're successful, I guess success comes in your own personal description, but from when you look from the outside in, you've achieved that success. And I'd love for you to share now, so because you've achieved that success, what is it now that you're so passionate about in your business?
You know, gosh, when you said that, like, I just felt this wave of emotion and, you know, probably a little bit of sadness in that, because it's like I have done and experienced such incredible things. Like, Bra Queen evolved out of thin air. No one was doing it, you know, so I really paved the way. And I think back to some of the crazy things that I've done and achieved in that space. Like, I built the world's first bra fitting app. I did all the training videos for a label that were just launching throughout in department stores all over the USA. So I filmed all of their training modules for their bra fitters just crazy stuff, right? And, you know, but I never felt like I was successful. I always felt like, in the beginning, I felt like I could just, you know, I used to say Bra Queen was my alter ego, you know, and I was able to step up and be this person. And then in the end, like, and not even in the end, really, just, you know, not long after that, no matter how much success I had, and my website, you know, was getting, you could Google any bra and I was ranking first on Google. I was dominating, like, the Google search engines, any search engine. And my website was getting up to 5,000 hits every single day.
Wow.
Like, it was huge, but you know what? It was never enough, and I never felt fulfilled, and I always felt like a fraud. And, you know, I always had that sense of, who are you to be doing this? And, you know, that was a big part of my journey. And, you know, for me, lingerie was never about the bras. I still love lingerie, but it's not about the bras. It's not, yes, I was educating people about the bra fit, but in all honesty, I don't really care. You know, like, yes, it's important, and it does, you know, it improves your posture and all of these amazing things, right? But for me, I loved how it made women feel. And it was them feeling empowered and confident, or sexy or pretty or elegant, or whatever it was, you know, whatever it meant for them. And I would not determine what it means for them, you know. And so, you know, when you say I've had all this success and what does it mean now, what it means for me now, and I guess is why I feel so emotional, Tammie, is because I feel fulfilled now. And it really was about me just being so gentle on myself and owning all of my flaws, or what I thought were my flaws, and those things that I hated about myself. And I spent my whole life loathing my body, and it wasn't perfect enough. And now I can just look at myself in the mirror. And before, I'm dancing my priestess this week and integrating my priestess. So I was dancing naked in front of the mirror, and I love my body. And is it perfect? No, it's not. And, you know, but I love myself more now because I honor my soul. And for me, embodying my worth, because I am worthy, I have to go there. Because I am worthy, I love myself enough to honor this vessel first and be real with my emotions. And, you know, I was really thinking this morning, like, just not deeming anything as bad, you know, just getting real and just using it as curiosity to explore what that means. So, you know, I guess that is what's changed for me now. It's, you know, it wasn't even about the money or the status or the numbers or, you know, anything else. It's just been this beautiful embodiment and honoring of who I am, and, you know, and all the, and that includes all the darkness, you know, or what we perceive as darkness.
Yeah, that's, I just honor you. Thank you so much for sharing that, because that's so deep and powerful for every woman to really understand that. And, you know, I can see that in my own life. I can reflect on that too. And so beautifully when another woman opens up that space for me to do so. So I really honor that you did share that, because so many women are going to gain so much from that space you've created for them. So I'm just like, yeah, my heart is singing with so much love and gratitude for that. So thanks, Renee. And I guess this leads me on to the next question is that I can see how, like, when I look at the hedonistic way, I can see that transition, like, and how you show up even more. And with these business jams, like, I joined live one time and I was just blown away with the raw authenticity that came through and your words. Like, it was just amazing. And is this what you call now, like, that soul fulfilling work that you're doing, is by showing up in this way for us to see the creativity in whatever way we see and feel, but you showing it from your way ignites and inspires us as well?
Absolutely. Like, you know, it's funny, I've been speaking for years and I've been on a lot of stages, and my very first gig, I delivered, and, you know, this is when, like, you know, Twitter was, you know, a thing. And so I went on to Twitter afterwards and I just read this flood of mentions, you know, saying that, you know, a lot of them were like, you know, it's like listening to someone sing, and, you know, it's like you were rapping but not rapping. And so I've always had this dance with how I deliver and the words that come out of my mouth. But what I love about spoken word is you can actually, like, it's, for me, it's therapy. It's, you know, it's my words. It's what the words that are floating through my body, they find me. And I can say it in a really concise way. And it sums it up in a relative, what I can sum up in a 5-minute spoken word piece. You know, a keynote, it would take 90 minutes or an hour or whatever it is, you know. So I just felt like the jams for me, it was about, you know, I wanted to, you know, everyone's a speaker, right? You know, so everyone has that label now. But I was like, what if we really honored the art of speaking? Because for me, speaking is not just about getting up on stage and delivering words. It's not about, it is about, but it's not actually, for me, it's not actually about, because it's a great lead generation tool, you know. For me, it is an art form, and it's a chance for us to connect heart space to heart space, and I get to take you away. And I thought, wouldn't it be great if we had an event regularly where we could invite speakers in, or people who are doing amazing things, but they got a playground to dance with their edge and push their edge in how they deliver on stage. Because often when we're paid for speaking gigs, you know, we have to deliver it a certain way, and we don't really get a chance to play with that and push the edge on, you know, how we deliver it. And that's really what the jam is about. Spoken word is my jam. Like, I love spoken word, But at the jams, we've had people sing, we've had people dance, like we've had such a broad, like people channeling. It's whatever their jam is, that is what they're invited to share, you know, with the audience. And I think that's really important, that we create the space for us to explore who we are in that moment and honor that, and hopefully invoke that in other people. Like the amount of people that have come to the jams and gone, you inspired me to start writing again. I forgot. Or, you know, you inspired me to write poems. And, you know, so that blows me away. And that is what my heart opens to, is because it's like that little reminder that, yes, like use your service as your playground and constantly push the boundaries. Yes, it's going to it's going to scare the absolute shit out of you, right? But gosh, it feels so good when we honor that whisper and that desire to share in a really different way. And you know what else it does is it separates us from the noise. We don't get taken away by the noise so much. We don't feel like we're just being bayed online, because we're actually embracing all of who we are. And instead of jumping online and seeing a sea of the same stuff and thinking, oh my goodness, why am I even bothering doing this, because I'm just like everybody else, we actually start to see authenticity in its true right, not in the demonized way that, you know, that now it's become cheesy and it's become cliche. We get to actually show up for who we really are and honor that word authenticity in its true purity, which is so beautiful.
Yeah, and so amazing. And like you said, it's a magical space because it's so unique in what it provides and gives. And to see other women who I never even thought was, you know, this kind of thing that they'd love to do, and see them shine and see them bring their own unique gifts through. It's just seriously so inspiring. And I seriously invite everyone to have a look at the Hedonistic Jam and find out when the next live one on, because honestly, I love it, and it's just getting into it and the rolling the movements and seeing you all up there, just, you know, and you're moving your body and you're using your hands, and, you know, you're really performing in a way that you're, like you said, you're totally sharing you in that moment. And it's just so amazing, and really is such a sight to see. So again, another beautiful gift that you're giving the world. And I guess this takes me to the next question, because you do so much. You have such a variety of, you know, things that you offer to the world. And I guess the series is all about bringing back the reality of that you're a mum as well, and you're a wife. And how do you do this? How do you for yourself, I know balance is such a, you know, precarious word to use, but how do you find fulfillment in all those areas whilst being a businesswoman?
You know, I had this conversation with my girls a couple of weeks ago, and I sat them down, and it was an intense conversation for me, let alone a nearly 10-year-old and nearly 12-year-old. But I sat them down and I said, you know what, guys, like, because the thing about parenting doesn't come easy to me. I'm not one of these people that are like, oh nah, like I can't go out at night time because I love to hang out with my kids. Like, I'm actually like, get me out. Like, I love it. And so, and I've been like that since they were born, you know, and my world doesn't revolve around the kids. And yes, I absolutely love them and all of those things. Of course I do, but it's not all of who I am. And for me, my business has always been a big part of who I am. And, You know, for me, I don't want an average relationship. I'm not interested in an average relationship. I want an incredible relationship where we have a beautiful conversation, where we actually love each other. We look forward to seeing each other every single day. We have amazing sex. You know, I want to be able to have a rocking relationship, and you know, and to be myself in all of that. It's a lot. And something that I realized, for me, it was really, for me, understanding self first. And I was saying to a client yesterday that for a long time, my business was my therapy. It was my outlet. It was my release. And that's not sustainable, because when we're serving and when we're working, we're still giving, and it's filling us up because we were empty and we felt important and needed. And that's not healthy, and it's not sustainable. So I really had to really think about who, you know, and the question that I asked myself every morning a couple of years ago was, who am I today when I don't need anyone or anything and no one needs me? And I didn't know, because I was constantly giving and serving, and I had no idea who that person was. So that's where the hedonistic way really began, because that is where pleasure became paramount in everything that I do. So for me, it began with self, and then it began with, you know, the relationship that I have with myself. And, you know, I would say to my partner, I began to really honor where I was at. And I would say to my partner, you know, if he wanted to have sex and it was a release, I said, I'm not interested in that. I'm not here for your release. I want to honor that you need a release. I'm not the vessel for that. You can go take care of that, because I'm accountable for me when I need that. But when we come together, may the king in me see the king in you. May the queen in me see the queen in you. And then we can come together, you know. So just being so respectful of our vessels and ourselves and each other, it really changed things. And getting curious and getting playful with it as well, you know, because I think in this, it can become very serious as well, you know. So it's, you know, it doesn't always need to be intense. It doesn't always need to be slow and for hours, and whatever it is, hard and fast's okay if that's what you feel like in that moment, you know. So it's just dropping all of the ideas that we think is what an enlightened, awakened person would do, and honoring what you need and feel like in that moment. So that really changed things, you know, for Chris and I. But for me, the hardest thing, in all honesty, Tammie, was parenting. Like, for me to find connection and, you know, feel awakened and let's even aroused and parenting in the mundane moments of, you know, get your stuff ready. Come on, it's time to go. Have you read your book? Have you done your homework? Like all that shit, I'm not interested at all. So for me, it was finding a way that I could make the most out of the mundane. And that for me was true spiritual practice, right? We chose this human body for a reason. We chose this experience for a reason. And that anyone can be spiritual and connected in a temple or on a retreat or on a vacation or whatever. But how we show up in those moments really determines our true happiness and dedication to ourselves. So I said to the girls a couple of weeks ago in this conversation, I said, you need to meet me halfway. I said, because I have a role and a goal as a mother. And my goal as a mother is to make sure I give you today everything you need to become a humble, grateful, loving, kind, courageous woman. I said, but right now, I can't fulfill that goal because my role is feeling like I have to take responsibility for your education, for your health, for your happiness. And I said, that's not my responsibility. That's your responsibility. You are responsible for your happiness. You are responsible for your education and for your health and your entertainment. I said, I am not an umpire to your arguments. I am not a referee, and I'm not here for your entertainment. That is your responsibility. You need to meet me halfway. And if you have a problem, you need to be able to go, hey, Mum, I need help with this. Meet me halfway. And so I said, right now, I'm sitting at around 90 and you guys are at 10. These scales, I cannot be the mother I want to be. You can't take my power, I admit, but bloody hell, I'm giving it away to you. So, you know, they had a look of like, what the hell is going on? But it's been probably about a month now. And I will say, guys, not my role. Like, this is me like sneaking up to 60, 70, 80. You need to meet me halfway. Meet me halfway. So it's a constant reminder, but it has changed how I show up in parenting, and it's taken all the pressure off. I feel like a weight has been taken off my shoulders because, oh my God, I don't have to be responsible for all of those things that I really felt responsible for. So, yeah, that was a really long answer to your question.
No, that was divine and so in depth, because this is the truth of it all. Like, there's some mums who love doting, some mums who don't, some are in between, you know, but it's not being shamed or guilt or judged on any of it. It's finding the way that feels good for you. And if you feel that you're not a, 100% mum, don't be it, because for me too, I feel like I want my children to be responsible. I want them to be independent. I want them to be self-dependable. Like, I'm still here for them, but I'm role modeling. Listen, I want to create this type of life. I want to be as expansive as I can in my life and my business, but I'm not going to be getting into your little fights and arguments and I'm bored. Well, good for you. Go find something to do. I'm not, like you said, you're not the entertainment. You're not responsible for so much of their stuff that we take responsibility for. And it's a shift in consciousness that we're taking a step away from what society expects us to be and going, this is what feels good for me.
Absolutely, exactly. We're not doing them any favors.
What really aligns with my soul.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. We're not doing them any favors by, pretending and doing all of these things for them. I've got 2 girls, so I want them to be strong. I want them to be strong, courageous, loving, kind women. In order for me to do that, they actually need to take responsibility for themselves. And I think that is the biggest gift that we can give them.
Oh, most definitely, because I feel now like my kids are such nicer, more loving, more supportive and helping beings because I've made that shift. Before they expected the world. Now they go, actually, I'm part of this world and I have to, take part and have a role and do my own, actually take part in creating this life. So thank you for bringing that up and being so strong in it, because this is what women need to see, you know, not like, you know, choose your own way, but explain that this is what feels good for me, what feels good for you. Explore that, expand on it, and experiment, because I think that's the way that you find what works for you, is actually if you try something different.
Yeah, absolutely. And you need to shake it up, right? Because, you know, that's when it does become, it can become, you know, really mundane. And, you know, it's, I think, you know, for me, like, responsibility is okay. I don't mind responsibility, but it's when I feel obligated that doesn't feel right for me. And those two things are very different. And every time I have a little, you know, moment where I'm feeling, you know, we get caught up in the kids' lives so much, I read, have you ever read The Prophet?
No.
There's a beautiful passage around children, and it's one of my favorite pieces of writing that brings me back, and it reminds me of my role as a parent. And, you know, we're not here to mother them. We're guides, you know, we're here to guide them. But that's, you know, that's it. You know, I said to my, you know, preteen the other day, I'm like, you know what, dude, you know, I can suggest things to you, but honey, like, this is your path. This is your life. Like, you actually have to be okay with this for you. You know, it's not about me wanting it for you. It's just about you loving yourself enough and getting out of your own way sometimes. Let your path find you, you know? So, yeah.
And what I love too is that you're role modeling, and you're role modeling so beautifully, because what you're role modeling, you're aligned with. And I think as mums, we forget this. We forget that when we say to our children, I don't have enough time to look after me, or, you know, you start having that negative self-talk, that you're actually speaking out in front of them, or, you know, you're showing them that you're saying yes to everyone else and no to you, that this has a huge impact. And if you could change some part of your parenting, it would be to love more of you, to spend more time on you, so you can role model. Because we can say many things, but our kids see what we do.
Exactly.
And so I think this is where that shift has to happen. We go, well, I'm not going to be responsible for all that. And oh my God, I actually have more time for me. How can I show up more for me? So have you experienced that as well? Like, as you've grown your self-love?
Oh, absolutely. And, you know, something that, you know, I say to the girls, you know, they know, and for quite a few years now, they know, they get up before me, and I'll set my alarm, but I don't actually leave my room until I've done some either journaling or meditation or both or whatever it is. I start my day with me, for me. And now if I'm starting to feel a bit disconnected, I'll say to the girls, Mummy's going to have a meditation. And they'll go, okay. So for them, meditation is like, it's nothing, you know, like they're so used to me going to meditate, and it's not where a lot of their friends will be like, what? You know, like it's this foreign thing. But the same about nudity and our body and how we feel about themselves. I absolutely agree. By role modeling that, it is much more powerful than preaching, you know, is when we're being, you know, when we're walking our talk, right? When we're being congruent, and they can see that, oh yeah, okay, you know, and, you know, and even, but that's the same as everything, like relationships, you know, like, yeah, I've said to them, you know, like, it's really important that I want to be a good role model, and I want to show you that you can do anything in this world. And, you know, I want to show you what a healthy, beautiful relationship is like, you know, what that is like, because, you know, I didn't have that growing up. I had a very unhealthy perception of what love and what a relationship looked like. So for me, a big part of my journey was really, you know, rewiring that and changing that, you know, that belief, what relationships and love looks like. And, you know, I always say what we don't heal, our kids inherit. And so it's worth us doing the work, because they've already got their own karmic line and they don't need ours as well, you know. So that's a part of the hedonistic way, is a part of the yearning, and one of the vows in it is to remove the ancestral and karmic line for our kids, so they can actually springboard off of their own foundation and not have to continue doing the work that we didn't accomplish in our lifetime. So for me, that's huge.
Yeah, totally is. And this is the beautiful segue into what you do and explaining the hedonistic way, because you already told us a little bit about it. But what is it? What does it encompass? Who is it, and what does it mean for you?
So for me, you know, when you're starting business and it's like, you know, my business was very separate. You know, my business was here, my life was here, and my kids were here. And, you know, it was all very, I guess, disjointed, right? And that was because, you know, you come from working and your career, and, you know, I say in one of my spoken word pieces, you know, you can take the girl out of the 9 to 5, but it takes a long time to take the 9 to 5 out of the girl, right? And so that was about, you know, and you're so passionate about your business and what you do, you think it's unwavering. But, you know, after 10 years in business, I went, oh, the passion is wavering, and you do change, and it is not in boxes. We're not wired like that. And so for me, the hedonistic way was about, you know, it was about unlearning and unknowing myself, you know. So really about going, okay, what I've been doing, it's not working, because I had beautiful relationship. Parents, you know, my parenting's fine. Their kids are happy, you know, but it was just within me. It didn't feel good for me. And I started to question, what is going on? Like, what am I really supposed to be doing? And so for me, the hedonistic way was about realizing that without self, there is no service. Mm-hmm. And if we can serve from a place where we are absolutely full and give and serve from that space, that changes everything. It changes everything for us. It changes everything for our clients and their clients and their clients. It changes everything for their families and their friends. Everything changes, and worth is everything. And the more we raise the more we embody our worth and really honor our worth, the more clarity comes our way, the more the open vessel and clear channel, the more we can hear the messages, the more we make better, more aligned decisions and choices for ourselves, and we remove that hierarchy of emotions. So for me, the hedonistic way is, in a nutshell, there's 4 elements, right? So we talk about self, spirit, sex, and service, and how you cross-pollinate. We're born, it's our birthright, right? To be abundant, to be, you know, pleasure-centric, to be, when we open up the floodgates to pleasure and redefine what that means for us, everything changes. Everything changes. And it's really the most sustainable way I have ever served in 23 years. And I feel absolutely different. And, you know, the change that I make is different, and how I serve is different. But it comes from a place of such humility that, you know, and our work is never done, you know. So for me, you know, as a coach or a mentor, you know, I see so often it's do things this way. I do what I do and you will get what I've got, you know. But for me, I go, find your own hedonistic way, right? Explore what pleasure looks like for you, and the integration and embodiment of how you show up every single day and serve with soul. That is pure hedonism, right? It's embracing the pain. It's embracing all elements. How do we use sex and spirit and self to actually serve in a way that is fun and effortless and is just totally on purpose and on point to, you know, what lights you up, you know, what, it's not what works for me. It's what makes your soul sing, you know. That for me, that is what it's about. And it looks absolutely different to everybody. And a massive part of it is you don't need healing. You've done nothing wrong. You don't have to suffer, and it doesn't have to be hard. The biggest thing that my clients will always say is, right, because they feel like in order for this massive change in their lives, it has to be hard. You know, it has to hurt. It has to, you know, whatever it is, you have to fix, you have to change, you have to do whatever. The hedonistic way does none of that. None of that. We break all the rules. And then we start to explore, you know, so I come up with rituals and practices that bypasses the mind, and where we listen to our vessels, we listen to our soul, we listen to our yoni, we listen to whatever it is for that person, and you create from that space. And then you explore and push those boundaries. You find your own words. You don't have to use other people's language. It's about really not looking what's around us, but really just tapping in, you know, to what is. So, and the true embodiment of that is really important. So, yeah.
Amazing. That sounds so divine. So if people want to come work with you, where do they find you? Where do they seek this space?
So you can hang out, you can check out my website, but really probably like connect on Facebook. You know, that's, for me, connection is absolutely massive. And let's have a conversation, you know, let's have a conversation, and, you know, we can explore what that looks like, you know, for them. So that's something that I really enjoy, is that, you know, I don't do any hard sell. I don't do any, you know, any clients that I work with, I'll say, this is a choose your own adventure, right? And it's choose your own adventure, but first go in and trust whatever you feel drawn to, because I don't care what it is. I don't care which one you choose. It's important for me that you choose what's right for you, you know. And so that is, you know, for me, that's true empowerment. because I think for a long time we've been manipulated into sales and, people who have abused NLP and, all of these things where we've been pressured and manipulated and controlled in ways that we don't even realize. And so for me, it's all about just, restoring that power back to its rightful place, So it's all those touch points that for me, I think, is really important. Yesterday I was with a client and I have a sacred agreement, and, I said to her, it's not actually about, for me, like protecting myself. It's about me showing you that you can trust me and that I have your back, like I am here for you, with you. I have your back in all ways, So for me, it's really a surrendering of trust and connection. So, I think that is, this wave like what you're doing, and it's beautiful to see this wave of women who are serving from this space. And the more we do it, the more, all control and hierarchy and, all of this crap will just transmute, because there is a much more effortless way than, that we can serve, which is beautiful.
You, like, honestly, I know I could just spend all day talking to you, because you're just, I guess this is the thing, is why I hold these interviews and conversations, because it's sharing women like you who are so authentic and passionate about inspiring and awakening others so they can do this for themselves. They can have these conversations. They can show up more authentically, whether it's in business, their life, their relationships, being a mum, but giving themselves permission and knowing they have a choice. This is huge. So thank you so much, Renee, for showing up so beautifully. And the queen that you are, I so see the queen you are, and I respect and love what you're doing. And I just thank you so much for coming and connecting with me again, because I love what you do and who you are. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Tammie. It was an honor. It's always beautiful to chat to you, and you are doing incredible work and creating the space where, you to do this. And, I think, I feel honored that you're doing what you're doing, and it's such important work that you're doing. So thank you for having me on to sharing space with you.
My pleasure, beautiful. I know everyone who's watching this is just going to gain so much. So if you have any questions, please reach out to Renee or myself, as we would love to connect with you. Even whatever thoughts came up, like, share that, because this is so thought-provoking, and this is the best space to share it with, because you have these two women who are open to support you in delving into this with curiosity and, experimenting with your truth. So thank you, everyone, for watching, and we look forward to connecting with you again very soon. Sending you all so much love, and make sure to choose you in whatever way you can today. Mwah.